Hey, want to create a new world from scratch? Come on, it'll only take half an hour. Let's play Planet from Blue Orange Games. Hey, I'm Andy at Board Game Barrister, and this play-along tutorial is designed to guide you through your first game of Planet as you play it, so feel free to grab your game box and play along. Let's get that box open and retrieve our game pieces. You should have 4 planet cores, 50 continent tiles, 45 animal cards, 5 natural habitat objective cards, and a first player token. As in all our play-along tutorials, I'll be suggesting good times for you to pause this video while you get caught up in your own game. This is the first of those moments, so why don't we pause while you get everything pictured here from your box. Alright, now let's get set up. First, each player should take an empty planet core and place it in front of them. Next, shuffle all the continent tiles. Now they're magnetic, so don't fret too much about how they shuffle. Separate those tiles into 10 face-down stacks of 5 tiles each, and then line up those stacks down the center of your play area. Shuffle the animal cards, then draw 20 of them. The rest can be returned to the box. Now we'll place the animal cards next to our tile stacks in the following arrangement. The first 2 stacks get 0 cards. 3, 4, and 5 get 1 card each. 6 through 9 get 2 cards each. And the 10th stack gets 3, as do 2 additional spaces without tiles beyond the 10th. Next, deal each player a secret natural habitat card. This card will give you a secret scoring objective based on 1 type of habitat. The youngest player takes the first player token and will begin the game for us. Pause again now while you get everything set up as you see it here. Alright, we're all set up, so let's get playing. In Planet, you'll be selecting continent tiles to add to your planet's core. Each of these tiles will take you closer to scoring points from your natural habitat card, and more importantly, to winning the animal cards as life begins to form on your planet. At the end of 12 turns, the player with the greatest collection of animals and most yield from their natural habitat will be the winner. So here's how to get started. Each turn begins with the first player taking the next stack of continent tiles in order, and flipping them out into the play area where everyone can see them. The first player then selects one of these tiles to add to their own planet core. Each tile can be added to any empty space on the core, and in any orientation. Then, all the remaining players also select and add 1 tile in clockwise order. When all players have taken 1 tile for the turn, all of the remaining tiles get added to the 11th space in the row of tile stacks, which is currently empty. In a moment, we'll take another pause so that you can take your first turn and claim your first continent tiles, but first we'll briefly touch on what you should be looking for in your tile choices. Beginning in the 3rd turn, you will have the chance to start winning animal cards. Each animal has different conditions for winning them, and each can only be won by a single player. Take a look at some of your upcoming animal cards now. Cards showing 5 of the same natural habitat type will reward you for having multiple distinct regions of that type of habitat. Cards showing a large habitat type above a smaller habitat type will reward you for having the largest region of the top type, but only if it shares a border with the region of the bottom type. And cards showing a large habitat above a smaller crossed-out habitat will look for the largest region of that top type, but only if it does not share a border with the bottom type. Okay, we'll go over all that again in turn 3 when we start claiming animals, but don't worry too much about your tile choice for now. The first game never counts anyway, right? You should pause while everyone takes their first turn by claiming 1 continent tile. Okay, turn 1 is just about complete. Everyone should have 1 tile on their planet, and the remaining tiles should all have been placed in that empty 11th tile stack space. The last thing to do in turn 1 is for the first player to pass the first player marker to the player on their left, and we're ready for turn 2. Turn 2 will play the same as turn 1. First player flips the 5 tiles in the second stack, then each player will claim 1 tile, and the remaining tiles will go to the 11th stack space. Once that 11th stack space has a full 5 tiles in it, then we'll move on to filling the 12th space. The game will be 12 turns in total, so once that 12th space has a full 5 tiles, any additional unclaimed tiles will start going back to the box instead. Pause here while you play through turn 2, and don't forget to pass that first player marker. Okay, it's time to start winning animals. Every turn for the rest of the game will now have a second phase after adding tiles to our planets, and that second phase is to claim animal cards. But first, let's take one more quick pause while you claim continent tiles for the third turn in the same way that you have been. Unpause when everyone has added their tile for the turn. Each turn from now on, after all players have claimed their tile, take a look at the animals beside the empty space where those tiles came from. Each animal has its own desired conditions for the planet it will live on, and one animal at a time will check our planets to see who best meets those conditions. Your current tile space, the one for turn 3, has one animal. Let's take a look at it, and the rest of the upcoming animals, and I'll go through a detailed look at how each animal is won. First is having the most of one type of region. A region is a group of matching triangular areas that are connected, like this frozen tundra here, for example. When an animal card shows 5 matching habitats like this polar bear, it will be won by the player who has the greatest number of distinct regions. So while this planet has more tundra overall, this planet will win the polar bear because its tundras are separated into more distinct regions. Next up, when you see a large habitat type above a small habitat type, that animal is looking for the largest single region of that top type, but it must share at least one border with the bottom habitat in order to count. This planet has a 6-area ocean, and it borders this forest, so it's a good contender to win this tropical fish. And lastly, when you see a large habitat above a small habitat, but the small habitat has an X through it, that means the animal will go to the largest single region of that top type, but only if it does not share any borders with the bottom type. This antelope would be attracted to this large 10-area desert, but unfortunately the desert borders multiple forests, so the antelope will probably end up in a smaller desert that better meets its needs. But what happens if there's a tie for largest region or greatest number of regions when determining who wins an animal? In the case of a tie, no one wins the animal this turn. It is instead added to next turn's animals, when everyone will have another chance to win it. The rulebook has a section on some edge case tie scenarios that could only come up in the 12th and final turn, but I won't go over those in this video. Feel free to check that section of the rulebook if it comes up on your 12th turn. Let's take another pause while you determine who wins that first animal of the game. That player should take the animal and place it face up in front of them. Unpause when they've done so. Once we've checked all the animals for this turn, we'll pass the first player marker like always, and carry on with the next turn. You're just about set to play through the rest of the game, but there are 2 more quick ideas to consider, both to do with how you'll score points. First, your secret natural habitat card will score you points at the end of the game based on the number of total areas your planet has of the shown type, so you may want to lean toward picking up more of that habitat when you have the opportunity. Second, your animals will each score you either 1 or 2 points at the end of the game. 1 point if the animal's natural habitat matches your secret natural habitat card, and 2 points if it does not match your secret habitat. The animal's natural habitat is represented by the card's border color. You are all set to play through the end of turn 12 when the last of the animals will be claimed. Pause the video while you do so, and we'll catch back up for end of game scoring. Okay, turn 12 has concluded. Everyone should have a completely full planet, and hopefully a sweet collection of animals that now reside there. Let's talk about your final score. There are 2 parts of your score. The first is your secret natural habitat card. Count the total number of areas on your planet that match your natural habitat. For whichever milestone you reached on your card, you'll receive the number of points shown. So for example, if this player had 20 areas of tundra, they would receive 6 points. And second, your animals are each worth points as well. Again, each animal that matches the habitat type of your secret habitat card is worth 1 point, and each animal that does not match your habitat type is worth 2 points. Once everyone has added up their points, the highest total is the winner. If you happen to have a tie for first place, then the player with the greatest number of animal cards wins, And if there's still a tie for animal cards, then all of the tied players win together. Thanks so much for joining me for this play-along tutorial of Planet. You can find more tutorials just like it here, and we'll see you next time.